9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. Liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Clear tower. Roger tower.
Welcome to the 8-Lane Pro Podcast. It's Saturday, January 18th, 2025. I've got Alysse.
Hey.
Number 3 for you? Is this number 3?
Number 3 for me, yes.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Matt, MUFON Matt,
Yay,
myself,
MUFON
Doug, hi. Today we're going to be talking about, we're going to start out with UFO news of the week. Not really news of the week, but things that just kind of came up. NASA stated that there's going to be an extinction level event. This giant, it's not a giant meteor, it's not, it's only 14 meters.
That's not very,
as opposed to like the one that killed all the dinosaurs,
Yeah.
like 14 kilometers.
It's gonna hit or getting close?
It's gonna hit Asia
Really?
in 2027.
Oh.
So that's what they say. There's an actual report. I didn't give you guys a report, but they did a report in 2017. So I mean, they say, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It isn't in the news. It kind of popped up.
It's not getting gold or diamonds or anything. Maybe.
This is where we have to, project something up there to hit it to throw it off.
Yes,
We
we
really
know
talk
this.
about that,
Yeah.
right?
I thought they could bump it out of the way like Armageddon and all that, but I don't know. But also in 27, ex-CIA agent John Ramirez stories of E.T. will be knocking on the door in 2027. That the ship's coming, and he said he heard it from the government in an official capacity. So I don't know.
It's funny because him and Lou Elizondo had stated in 2027 that something big was happening.
So I don't know how maybe they're leading disclosure up so that we were prepared for this. Also, a helicopter pilot and a UFO retrieval witness, Jake Barber. Is it Jake Barber?
Yeah.
Barber.
He's on Coulthard today, the 18th. Anybody watching Ross Coulthard's show? I don't remember the name of it. I know he's been on News Nation, but he's got his own show. And this guy, I guess he flew the helicopter in. They hooked up the UFO as an egg-shaped rollable UFO, and they pulled it in and into the ship. And he carried it off. I don't know if he's gonna. I doubt he's going to be able to disclose. I heard a clip of it from Vetted, our buddy up there.
Oh, yeah.
I can't see him, but he's talked about it in this episode. And a clip from
Reality Check.
Yeah, Reality Check is Coulthard's show. And then Stephen
Your buddy.
Greer, our old friend, he also stays. Something big's going to happen today. It's the 18th.
Today.
Yeah.
Today. That's what Greer stays.
72 hours ends Saturday, major disclosure.
Yeah, so
What
I don't know.
Stop TikTok from closing down.
Do you use TikTok? You send me stuff on TikTok.
That's
And I'm like, oh, TikTok.
Yeah, it's just another. There's a new one coming. It's like a red note or
There's
something.
a new.
There's another one.
So are we going to be able to TikTok? That's also news, but
yeah.
it's not really weird, but it's interesting. Do you do TikTok? You don't.
I don't do any social
She
media.
doesn't do. Alysse does no social media.
Nothing.
So
Yeah.
we'll make sure we
Off grid.
Yeah.
we'll be sure to distribute this on some platforms that we don't usually do, so Alysse can get a date.
You have to throw that in there. Doug is obsessed with my love life. I don't understand.
I'm very curious. You can ask me.
Not dating right now.
No.
I'll leave it at that.
No.
It doesn't mean that I won't go out on a date with a handsome man.
Do not send us,
He's doing that.
Your resumes.
pictures.
He's doing that thing. I'm concentrating on myself.
That's right.
I don't have time.
Moving right along.
So
Next.
that's the best part. So,
I'm
Mike-
a secret.
the best part of the week that I discovered, and probably everybody else on the planet knew about this, but Mike Turner was ousted as House Intelligence Committee Chairman.
Man.
Now out of the Gang of Eight, which has the most sensitive of intelligence briefings. He's out, but he's still in the Armed Services and Oversight Government Reform Committee. So he's still in there, but he doesn't have the power he used to be. And Corey and I at work, we Corey says he's still going to be doing the same thing he is. Yeah, he's still going to be on the take.
Yeah.
He's still, his Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is in his district.
Political.
So we know, Lockheed's there, Raytheon's there. They're paying him to stop disclosure, I think. But more importantly, he's, the war in Ukraine, obviously we're using American munitions.
Yep.
And weapon systems, and then, we pay our taxes. Our taxes go to these black defense funds, the Lockheed, and then they pay Mike Turner to keep the war going.
Yeah.
So
Machine.
they can sell their stuff. So we give billions to the Ukraine, which they pay Lockheed to buy the stuff.
Is that why
So-
he got? Well, I know there's a thing on why he got fired. Basically, you think that's why they're?
There was no real. I mean, they said it wasn't political, but I think it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they never really know.
Right.
So we rolling it. So that's news of the week. We're going to be talking about super soldiers. Super soldiers.
Super soldiers.
Wow. The 10 most outrageous military experiences. We're going to touch on some of these, maybe not all of them, but super soldiers. The super soldier program of Marvel superhero Wolverine in the movie X-Men Origins. Wolverine, along with rivals Sabretooth and Weapon XI. Was that 11? And now Life Science looks on the real experiments, and the U.S. government, the experiments the U.S. government ran on soldiers and citizens to advance the science of war. The military didn't replicate Wolverine's indestructible skeleton and retractable claws. Rather, they shot accident victims up with plutonium, tested nerve agents on sailors, and tried out ESP. While some of these tests seem outlandish, in hindsight, the military continues to push the envelope in seeking new warfare techniques based on cutting-edge technology and science.
I'm not signing up for plutonium.
You're not signing up for that.
Anybody in here?
I think that's pretty good.
No.
I was really surprised when I saw that one because I hadn't heard about it, and I'm like, injecting plutonium. Like I heard about, this test on LSD and the remote viewing thing, but injecting plutonium?
Yeah.
Ew.
No.
Well, in the 40s,
Will you lose weight though?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm in.
Okay.
So, during the 1940s, Nazi troops were liberally supplied with a methamphetamine called Pervitin, kind of funny name, while American and British soldiers stayed alert with the help of the amphetamine benzedrine. Alysse, I'm sure you know about all these things,
Yeah,
benzedrine.
Actually, I'm not very familiar with that. That's not something we, have in the clinic.
You don't have that there?
No.
No.
Medical officers on both sides distributed these stimulants and others, such as cocaine,
Yeah.
to keep weary soldiers awake for days at a time.
Oh yeah.
To enable troops to perform longer under punishing conditions, and to deaden the horrific and debilitating effects of shell shock and post-traumatic stress disorder, according to Secrets of the Dead, World War Speed, a new documentary. What's not new is like,
On
age
PBS.
ago. Yeah.
But that sounds like an interesting show to watch.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched that.
The German meth Pervitin was initially marketed in the 30s as a recreational pick-me-up, and scientists were experimenting with Pervitin before.
To see how long
Before
student
the
users
war,
could stay
yeah.
awake and still perform well on exams.
Yeah, I'm sure it's still used today. But anyway,
And they used it, the Germans used it.
so yeah, that was kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know. I didn't look up all the. I mean, we did a lot of experimentation. I'm told by people kind of on the inside that there's an organization. That was the one I sent you guys a million texts ago that oversees the treatment of. You can't really experiment and do weird things. They say today,
Right.
Because there's an oversight. Yeah, here.
Yeah, here.
There's an oversight committee that takes a look at that IRP or whatever that is. DARPA's so rolling into the some of the things going. DARPA's Inner Armor project found success. Considers efforts to give humans the extreme abilities of some animals, such as high-flying conditioning of the bar-headed goose that has been known to crash into jet aircraft at 34,000 feet.
Isn't that crazy? I
Right.
never knew that a goose could fly that high.
30 feet, right, same.
Scientists are also eyeing the stellar sea lion, which redirects blood flow away from the non-critical organs during deep sea dives and reduces oxygen demand.
Oh, wow.
DARPA is I got onto the DARPA website. I got through.
You're on the list now.
Yeah.
They're following you.
The goal is to make soldiers kill-proof.
Yep.
Against all sorts of conditions, including infectious diseases, chemical, biological, and radioactive weapons, temperature and altitude extremes, and harsh natural environments.
Superheroes.
And it sounds like certain
You'd be a
superhero.
mutant.
Yeah. So sleep is the, soldier's worst enemy.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's where
But again, DARPA is. When I went on that website,
Yeah.
you can't apply for a job. You could apply for a job, but I didn't have the skill set.
You could apply for a job there?
You could, but you probably could get it.
I think I'm just gonna apply.
Just apply to see. It was weird how they don't. You have to write down where, what your background is.
Right.
I don't think, unless you have a background I'm not aware of. I don't have a background that is going to be,
Oh, we're not chemical engineers.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Space tech.
They're like, what? You play guitar? Yeah, no, you're good. Go ahead. We're gonna pass.
Most recently, the military has tested and deployed the drug modafinil. Phenol, more commonly known as Provigil, which has supposedly enabled soldiers to stay awake for 40 hours straight without ill effect.
Oh.
Wow.
I can't believe that
It's
you
like
can stay
Superman.
awake for 40 hours and that it wouldn't have an ill effect.
Right.
Well, that's the
It's
thing.
like
If this,
Superman.
it must have some ill effect, and if this oversight,
Well, once it wears off, then what? I mean, do you just
Yeah.
crash for another 40 hours?
Yeah.
you sleep for 40 hours.
Yeah.
And DARPA is funding even more unusual anti-sleep research, such as transcranial magnetic stimulation that zaps the brain with the electromagnetic.
Yeah.
I could use that.
I want that.
Right?
Like, keep you
Absolutely.
awake.
U.S. and Chemical and Biological Warfare led the government Department of Defense to start Project 112 from 1963 to the early 70s. Part of the effort involved spraying different ships and hundreds of Navy sailors with nerve agents, such as sarin and VX, in order to test the effectiveness of decontamination procedures and safety measures at the time.
Yeah, and do these soldiers know that they were getting sprayed? That was
Probably
my
not.
big thing.
Well, we did some pretty horrific
Some
stuff.
people knew stuff, like when they volunteered to sign up for LSD and stuff, but the spraying, I don't know if they were aware.
There was a movie, Jacob's Ladder. Tim Robbins was in, where he didn't realize that he was on some kind of super soldier stuff, and they were murdering each other. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's been a while since.
I've probably seen it.
Yeah, Jacob's Ladder. That was the name of the drug.
Well, we did some
Check
pretty
it out.
horrific stuff. Look what we did. The military, was it the military that, I don't know, just the government as a whole, they gave African Americans gonorrhea or something.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's right. Yes,
On
I
purpose.
heard a whole podcast on that. Yeah,
What was the purpose
to
of
test it to see how long effects of being on gonorrhea would affect
Would
you.
affect your body.
Well, let's see. It probably slowly kills you. All right, interesting. Sorry. Yeah. Why they would do that? That's ridiculous.
On that note.
Well, and then the VA began studying the possible health effects of the sailors that participated in this.
Right. That's crazy.
It was just one of the many chemical warfare experiments conducted by the U.S. military, starting with volunteer tests involving mustard gas in World War II.
Yeah, it's kind of, when I was in the military, part of basic training is to experience CS gas. And they would put us in this little, today I'd probably freak out because I get claustrophobia.
Put you in a closet.
It's like well, it's about the size of this room actually.
Okay.
And they'd put a pile of us in there and then they'd spray, it's to teach you how to use your gas mask. So they spray it in there.
You gotta take it off.
And then you gotta take it off
Yes.
and then you gotta put it on,
Yep.
clear it, you put your hands over both of it and you blow out and then whatever's inside the mask.
It's still do tear gas when you.
Yeah, it's kind of what that is
Yeah.
for CS gas.
Yeah.
But you're
Was
not
it
supposed.
nasty? Was it nasty?
Yeah, you come out. I should show. I have the book for my basic. I have the yearbook for basic training, and it shows us coming out. Well, they panicked when I was in there. They panicked. But when I was in basic training, a couple bad things happened. It was weird, and that was way back in the 70s. But people rushed the door, and the door, for whatever reason, opened inward. So people were shoved. People are packed trying to
You
get
can't
out.
open the door.
Trying to get out of there, and I'm at the back, like,
Idiots.
okay, I'm dying here. The snot is just coming out. Just like,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah, breathe.
it's freaking horrible.
So you probably shouldn't cook with it then, I imagine.
No,
Not a good idea.
I can see where it's effective though, you know.
Right.
I was also in, we did hand grenade training.
Ooh.
You're down in this, in a bunker basically, and it's below ground level.
Right.
And you can see about this much, and then it's like a star shape or a pentagon shape kind of, but it's in like these cell things.
Right.
And when your name's called, you go up and it's very organized, and they literally have a live hand grenade.
Here comes trouble.
And here he is. Hi, Chance.
Hi, Chance.
Introducing Chance, the
Here's
new
the
dog.
puppy.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah. He went for a walk.
We're home.
They're home. Chance and Max are, yes, we still have Max. So you go up into this cell, and you have the drill, first and you don't do it by yourself, you have the drill instructor in there with you. And in the center of this pentagon, I think it's a pentagon, so I've always saw one side of it.
Right.
And they have a bunch of tires, and they pile a bunch of tires so that when the grenade hits it, it absorbs the shrapnel.
Right.
Doesn't absorb all of it, because you can kind of hear it every once in a while. But,
that's scary.
so the guy, you go up there, you do yours, and then you come back in the back.
Right.
And then, you come back in the back, so I go up, I do mine, and they tell you, pull the pin, throw it up over
How many seconds do you have?
You
before
just
it goes?
you're literally doing this and
And
this.
throw it.
Yeah, you don't wait.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't go 1001.
Yeah, no, there's no countdown.
Get rid
No
of it.
countdown.
Get rid of this. I do not have any interest in hanging on to this.
No. No.
So I go around, a few guys later comes in and you can see, you kind of watch them just kind of walking up there, but it's well below where this it's cinder block, but you can see into the tires.
Are you wearing like ear protection?
Yeah, they had that was the first time.
I would think that.
This is why I have tinnitus.
What?
My dad, yeah.
What?
I used to shoot a lot with my dad, and, never wore ear protection.
Right.
Anyway, that was 3 steps down from our subject. But anyway, you have a window. You can see the other side of the window's all scarred from the stuff hitting it all the time.
Wow.
But you see it a little bit. So we're down there. I don't know how many guys later when this guy goes up, he takes the grenade, throws it straight up.
No!
Straight up. He grabs the guy, the drill sergeant grabs him,
Throws
throws him into the next cell, and we were guys screaming, "Get out, get out, get out!"
Right.
So we all had to get down. The thing blows up into the cell. The shrapnel come flying out, and it didn't really come into the area.
Did they
No one got hurt.
Nobody got hurt. But I never saw that guy again.
Wow.
Yeah, he failed his.
I think he
yeah.
failed basically.
You failed the grenade test, you're out.
You know, he was.
You'll be pushing papers for the rest of your life.
It was, you know, at that age where it wasn't even really scary.
There's a couple videos you see on YouTube where there's people and the guy throws it and hits something, bounce back, and then so it's
Don't mess with that stuff.
no.
Yeah,
It's not a firecracker. A little worse.
Right.
So yeah, psychos. Then we have the hallucinogenic warfare.
Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
the best kind.
Oh yeah.
Psychoactive drugs such as marijuana, LSD, PCP don't just have the street value. Researchers once hoped the drugs would become chemical weapons that disabled enemy soldiers. U.S. Army volunteers took pot, acid, and angel dust.
I'm ready to try that now.
At a facility. Sounds
smell
like
that.
the 70s when I was.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Yeah.
Although those drugs proved too mellow for weapons use, the Army did eventually develop hallucinogenic artillery rounds that could dispense powdered.
I don't know how to pronounce that either.
Quinacridone
Oh gosh.
benzolate, which left many test subjects in a sleep-like condition for days. The National Academy of Sciences conducted a study in '81, found no ill effects from that testing, of course.
Oh no, it's good shit.
But that's cool too, because I hadn't heard that they developed these rounds that had the drug in it.
No, that is really
Yeah,
cool.
I hadn't heard about that either.
No ill
That's
effects
kind
and
of cool.
Hit me with some LSD, yo.
chemical. Yeah, so there was a book called Chemical Warfare Secrets Almost Forgotten. And this was kind of, I've heard of this before, but it's kind of fun.
I wonder if it's so funny.
Falling near the speed of sound.
Oh yeah, I read that. That was interesting. I thought this guy was nuts.
Have you've seen the video of this guy? Dan?
Yeah.
So-
To jump from 102,000 feet.
What?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Almost 20 miles up.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Joseph Kittinger Jr.,
He was
the
a test pilot.
They're all crazy.
He was a captain.
They're all
20
crazy.
miles up, he then leaped and free fell at speeds of up to 614 miles an hour. That's almost the speed of sound of 761 miles an hour.
He endured temperatures as low as minus 94 degrees Fahrenheit. I complain it's cold here in the winter. I can't even imagine 94 degrees Fahrenheit. Minus.
You like it hot or cold?
You know that book you're talking about?
Yeah.
$399 on Amazon.
$399.
The Chemical Warfare Secrets of the.
Check eBay.
Can you screenshot that and send it to me?
I sure definitely could.
Yeah.
We're gonna be able to find it somewhere.
Most soldiers. Oh, what's
Are
the
you
next
on this
page
one?
you got? Yeah.
Oh, mine's in order. Do you want mine?
Mine's in
together?
order. Mine's in order. I
Okay.
dropped my. I
Pass
dropped
the
my
skinny pig?
pages.
Is that the one next?
Yeah, most soldiers.
Rocket Riders next. Yeah.
Okay.
That one.
Most soldiers don't sign up to fight deadly viruses or bacteria, but that is what more than 2,300 young Seventh-day Adventists did when they were drafted into the U.S. Army.
And this I didn't know. Why did they choose 7 days? Well, they did. It explains further, but I
Well,
thought that was
they're
interesting.
conscientious objectors,
Right.
and they interpreted the Bible. Thou shalt not kill, very literally. Many volunteered instead to serve as guinea pigs for testing vaccines against biological weapons. Volunteers recalled being miserable for several days with fever, chills, and bone-deep aches from diseases such as Q fever. None died during the exercise,
Operation White Coat.
but it was Operation White Coat, which took place at Fort Detrick in Maryland. You know, Fort Detrick, that's where they had all the nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Before man could launch into orbit to the moon, he rode rocket sleds.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I saw that picture. I'm like, oh, I want to ride that.
How
thing.
many died during that?
I've
That's
seen
a-
videos of that. There was a video or something that I saw.
It
on
looks
TV
cool,
one time.
however.
Yeah.
He rode rockets. Man rode rocket sleds on the ground first. NASA scientists developed decompression sleds that could race at speeds of up to 400 miles an hour before screeching
To
to an
an abrupt halt.
And early
Oops.
testing often had fatal results from chimpanzee subjects that suffered brain damage.
Duh.
Starting in '64, Colonel John Stapp of the U.S. Air Force endured grueling tests that subjected his body to forces 35 times that of gravity,
Ouch.
including one record-setting run of 632 miles an hour.
Wow.
Holy crap.
My brain is shaking inside
Yeah.
my head.
Jeez.
As a flight surgeon, he voluntarily took risks of 29 sled runs, during which he suffered concussions, cracked ribs, a twice fractured wrist, lost dental fillings, and burst blood vessels
In both eyes. Oh,
that
man.
sounds painful.
I'm in.
I mean, I'd like to go that fast, but I don't want to stop abruptly.
No.
Oh, man.
Oh,
They better
yeah.
pay you good.
Well, you know what they say about, falling from high places? It's not the fall that kills you.
Yeah.
It's that sudden stop
It's
at the end.
thump.
Yeah.
Get your plutonium shot. This was the interesting one to me.
As
I think I'm telling you now.
as the ring, what's
Did your arm hurt now? You got
Yeah,
shot?
yeah, that's from the.
This is your
COVID.
favorite one, Alysse. You can take this one.
Oh, okay. As the United States raced to build its first atomic bombs near the end of World War II, scientists wanted to know more about the hazards of plutonium. Testing began on April 10, 1945, with the injection of plutonium into the victim of a car accident in Oak Ridge, Tennessee,
What?
to see how quickly the human body rid itself of the radioactive substance. That was just the first of over 400 human
Wow.
radiation experiments. Common studies included seeing the biological effects of radiation with various doses and testing experimental treatments for cancer. Records of this research became public in 1995 after the U.S. Department of Energy published them.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
just sounds like injecting plutonium. I mean, you might as well just put uranium in my veins.
We
I
did
mean,
some
ugh.
stupid shit back in the day,
Right?
huh?
I'm sure we're still doing some stupid crap
Yeah.
now. We just won't know about it for
Yeah,
another 40 years.
30, 40 years, we'll let you know about the stupid shit we're doing behind closed doors.
I'm curious to know, like, what they found or what happened to the person after getting that injection.
Yeah,
It doesn't say in this.
they're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's
It
the
can't
part
be
that's
pretty.
yeah, they get swept under the rug.
Yikes.
We paid you. Go away.
Seeing infrared?
Seen red.
Matt, you wanna
Is
say
the,
that?
Oh, you want me to read this?
Yeah.
Alright.
We'll take turns like we're in school.
Yeah, like we're in school. I like this. The U.S.
Right.
Navy wanted to boost sailors' night vision so they could spot infrared signal lights during World War II. However, infrared wavelengths are normally beyond the sensitivity of human eyes. Scientists knew vitamin A contained part of a specialized light-sensitive molecule in the eye's receptors and wondered if an alternate form of vitamin A could promote different light sensitivity in the eye. They fed volunteers supplements made from livers of walleye pikes, and the volunteers' vision began changing over several months to extend into the infrared region. Such early success went down the drain after other research developed an electronic snooperscope
Snooperscope.
Snooperscope.
I like that.
snooperscope to see infrared, and the human study was abandoned. Other nations also played with vitamin A during World War II. Japan fed its pilots a preparation that boosted vitamin A absorption and saw their night visions improve by 100% in some cases.
You know how in school they always said, oh, eat carrots, it's good for your eyes,
Yeah.
beta carotene and stuff?
High in vitamin A?
But that was also really interesting that they did experiments on that and,
That's crazy.
Right.
All right.
but it works, obviously.
Yeah, if they're doing it.
Here's the People's Liberation Army one.
You want me to read that one? Or you want to?
His pages fell
That
out
was
of
the
order.
tardigrade. Yeah, I'm out of order.
Man, you are
This is-
out of order.
This is the tardigrade thing.
Okay, so
Your in 2022, the
there you go.
People's Liberation Army Academy of Military Sciences reported that the team of military scientists inserted a gene from the tardigrade into human embryonic
That's my
stem cells
buddy.
in an experiment with the stated possibility of creating soldiers resistant to acute radiation syndrome who could survive nuclear fallout. The remarkable endurance of German and Allied soldiers during World War II had a secret ingredient: performance-enhancing drugs. During the 1940s, Nazis troops were liberally supplied with methamphetamine. I think we already did that, didn't we? Pervitin, while American and British soldiers were lured with the help of amphetamine Bizendrine. We did that. We already talked about that.
This is where you need to insert the picture of the tardigrade.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the tardigrade.
Here, I got a picture. They probably won't see it though.
Was that
Hold
10?
it, go hold it up to the camera, Matt.
Yeah.
Hold it up to the camera. Was that 10 things?
Look,
Was
see?
that 10 things?
Tardigrade. Right there. He's cute.
He's a cute tardigrade.
It's weird looking.
It looks like
I'm not even gonna tell you what
He's got 6-legged
I said
egg.
to the
It's a
guys
turtle.
earlier.
it's a sharp egg.
It's
It's
Sharpay.
Sharpay.
It looks like a Sharpay.
Sharpay.
Oh, wrinkly.
All right. Who's next? Where we at? Drugs, Fearless, and Berserk?
Yeah, is that the 10 things? That didn't seem like 10.
No, there's more.
No, there's more.
Oh,
You're on. Well, you're way off.
Drugged, fearless, and berserk.
That's
You
what I
can't
got.
function.
Pervitin.
well, I'm on the Pervitson thing.
Okay, so, yeah, the one before that is this. That's right before the...
Drug Fearless and Berserk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right before the
I
Pervitin.
think I'll have
Well, I'll just read.
You
go ahead.
take that.
The German methamphetamine Pervitin was initially marketed in the 1930s as a recreational pick-me-up, and scientists were experimenting with Pervitin before the war to see how long student users could stay awake and still perform well on exams, said World War II historian and documentary consultant James Holland. I know that name.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so by 1940, Pervitin was widely distributed among pilots in the Luftwaffe, which is the Nazi Air Force, to prime them for the rigors of long missions or to ward off sleeplessness and hunger if their planes were shot down. That's kind of interesting.
That was?
Yeah.
Then they had that year was the year of the Blitz, so that's the Nazis' relentless and devastating bombing attacks against Britain. An initiative fueled by massive quantities of speed.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, records from the British War Office estimated that over 3 months of the Blitz, from April to June 1940, which is about 35 million Pervitin tablets, were sent to 3 million German soldiers, seamen, and pilots. Nicholas Rasmussen, a professor of the School of Humanities and Languages at the University of New South Wales in Australia, reported, and that was in 2011, so it's an older report. Following this infusion of drugs, the Wehrmacht soldiers, which as the troops in Nazi Germany were called, marched and fought for 10 consecutive days, trapping and defeating the British Army at Dunkirk in a decisive military victory. In Britain,
Pretty effective stuff.
That's a great movie, too, Dunkirk.
Yeah.
If you ever get to watch it.
In Britain, rumors swirled about dive-bombing Nazi pilots with a superhuman resistance to G-forces through drugs, and newspapers described sightings of German paratroopers who were heavily drugged, fearless, and berserk.
Drugs are bad and good.
After British intelligence agents discovered Pervitin tablets in a downed German plane, officials hatched a plan to fuel Allied soldiers with a similar chemical advantage.
Monkey see,
We're
monkey
going to
do.
do this. They settled on the amphetamine benzodrine in the form of tablets and inhalants. Britain's Royal Air Force officially sanctioned its use in 1941 to be supplied at the discretion of the medical officer attached to the squadron or Air Force base. But just as benzodrine wasn't as dangerous as Pervitin, the drug still carried risks, Holland added. It stops you from sleeping, but it doesn't stop you from feeling fatigued. Your body has no chance to recover from the fatigue and its suffering, so there comes a point when you come off the drug and you just collapse. You can't function, he said.
That totally makes sense because your body needs that sleep time. So afterwards, when it wears off, I'm sure you crash.
You want to take the next segment? British and
Sure.
American?
British and American armies embraced amphetamine use, even though at the time the drug had not been adequately proven to boost performance in fatigued subjects. Rather, the Allies adopted a drug for its its mood-altering capabilities. It increased aggression and confidence, and provided a boost to morale. When American soldiers landed in North Africa in 1942, they were also operating under the influence of speed. 500,000 benzodrine tablets were supplied on the orders of General Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Oh, yeah.
That was also featured in that PBS documentary. It's also stated in a 1942 memo from a British commanding officer stating that the British 24th Armored Tank Brigade soldiers received 20 milligrams of benzodrine per day prior to a battle in Egypt. By comparison, the recommended dosage for pilots in the Royal Air Force was at the time only 10 milligrams, so it was doubled.
Matt, I think appropriate if you read the next segment.
Yeah.
Where are we at again?
Amphetamines are currently.
Okay, so one thing about benzodrines They were called bennies in the
Yeah.
70s.
Oh yeah.
And they're obviously.
Benny and the Jets.
Yeah. Amphetamines are currently recognized as high risk for addiction and abuse. However, in the 1940s, experts roundly dismissed this notion. In scientific literature, research reported in 2013 in the Journal of Psychopharmacology.
Wow.
Is that correct?
See that three times.
Psychopharmacology. By the end of the
Second World
Yeah.
War.
By the end of the Second World War, I was making sure I wasn't out,
Yeah,
you are out of order. You saw increasing knowledge of the side effects of these drugs. What you didn't see is what to do with people once they became hooked. There's something that had to be learned the hard way in the years that followed. Holland told Live Science. The full extent of addiction and how harmful they could be was not properly understood, Holland said. At the end of the war, there was very little help offered for the people who became addicted.
Of course. That must have been really hard.
The concept of the super soldier programs can be traced back to ancient times, with myths and legends of warriors with superhuman abilities. In the modern era, the first serious attempts to create super soldiers were made during World War II. One of the most famous super soldier programs was Project Rebirth, which was launched by the United States in 1941. The goal of the project was to create a new breed of soldier who would be stronger, faster, and more intelligent than ordinary humans. The science leading Project Rebirth was Dr. Abraham Erskine, a German refugee who had escaped the Nazi regime. Erskine had developed a serum that he believed could embrace human abilities to superhuman levels. In 1942, Erskine chose Steve Rogers. Is this not real? This is like Marvel. This isn't real, right? A scrawny but
No, this is real.
Yeah.
courageous young man. Wait, this is like Captain America.
Well, that's next paragraph. It is Captain America.
Yeah.
And as the first test human for the super soldier serum, the serum was a success. I don't know how this got in there. Anyway, that's Captain America, and that's not real. So,
But he was transformed into Captain America.
He was.
Yeah,
It was real.
that's interesting.
Well, this is really interesting. Captain America went on to play a pivotal role in the Allied victory in World War II. However, Dr. Erskine was killed by a Nazi spy shortly after Rogers was transformed, and the secret formula for the super soldier serum was lost.
Sure.
Right.
But it wasn't.
So despite the loss of the super soldier serum, which I guess isn't real, right? Mm-hmm. The United States government continued to pursue soldier research after World War II.
Well, think about it, Cold War, we were worried that there, nuclear, stuff was going to happen, so, yeah.
But the CIA did launch a secret program called, which was real, Project MK Ultra, which experimented with various mind control techniques in an attempt to create super soldiers. You can go on with that, Lisa.
Project MK Ultra was eventually shut down due to ethical concerns, but super soldier research continued in other countries. In the Soviet Union, for example, scientists developed a program called Operation Winter Soldier, which created enhanced soldiers known as Winter Soldiers. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of interest in super soldier programs. The United States military has invested billions of dollars in research aimed at developing new ways to enhance human performance. And some of those include exoskeletons that can increase a soldier's strength and endurance, brain-computer interfaces that can allow soldiers to control machines with their minds, and gene editing that can be used to improve a soldier's physical and cognitive abilities.
Wow.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I would think that gene editing has to be done in the womb, before someone's born, or maybe they're working on just changing a certain gene in your DNA. If they can do that right now, I don't know. That could be interesting.
I think one of these articles touches on that.
Yeah. Cyborg military future. Ooh.
You can take in Left of Boom's episode 6.
I'll take that now.
Yep. If Left of Boom's episode 6 left you scared about the terrifying cyborg military future that awaits us, this sequel may offer a small dose of comfort, and that there are thoughtful people thinking through the major problems that this future presents and how we might solve them. Last episode, we talked about the technology itself, from the smart bodysuits with implants to the bionic eyes and cyborg brain enhancement. Today we're going to follow that up by diving deep into the new world of ethical concerns that these technologies open up for the military, and talk about just how prepared America is to handle warfare that involves not just man-machine teaming, but man-machine hybrids. To guide us through what will no doubt be a mind-bending and at times frightening discussion, we have two of the leading experts in the field. Dr. Edward T. Barrett is the Director of Research in the U.S. Naval Academy Stockdale Center for Ethical Leadership and an ethics professor in the Department of Leadership, Ethics, and Law.
Wait, the military has an ethics department? Sorry, I had to put that in there.
That's the joke. And Dr. Tony
Faff
is currently the research professor for strategy for the military profession and ethics at the Strategic Studies Institute at the U.S. Army War College. He also a senior non-resident fellow at the Atlantic Council.
I didn't know there was a U.S. Army War College.
No.
That's the fiction.
In the future, senior military leaders and defense officials will strive to develop what might be called super soldiers. In other words, developing and enhancing critical skills from physical and cognitive abilities to social, cultural, and ethical understandings on the environment in which soldiers operate.
It's still too early to say whether any of these technologies will lead to the creation of true super soldiers. However, the research is ongoing, and it's possible that we may see the first real super soldier in the not too distant future.
Some might already be here.
Correct.
Notable super soldiers in fiction we know about, which is
Marvel Comics.
Marvel Comics, DC, X-Men.
Yep.
Winter
Soldier, Avengers,
Wolverine,
Metal Gear Solid,
Iron Man,
Halo,
Supergirl,
Liquid
What?
Snake.
Wolverine.
Never heard of
Liquid
Liquid
Snake.
I've
and
neither.
Solidus Snake.
Is that like,
No,
That's
I was thinking of a Harry Potter reference.
Oh, I was going to say something
yeah,
worse.
I was too, but I
Okay.
Big Boss.
Captain
Never
America,
heard
Big
of that.
Boss.
Boss.
Super soldier programs are
Red
popular
Skull.
in theme in science fiction and action because they are interesting questions about the nature of humanity and the ethics of the human environment. The myth and the reality of the super soldier. In China, trying to make its own version of Captain America, U.S. intelligence suggested so. But beyond the hype, the possibility of a super soldier is not outlandish and one that China, shockingly, is interested in. With deep pockets and a desire to get an edge, the world's militaries have often driven technological innovation from the state-of-the-art to the humble. Take duct tape, Matt.
Okay.
Duct
All right,
tape.
I got it.
It was the result of a suggestion from an Illinois ordnance factory worker who had sons serving in the Navy during World War II. Worried about soldiers under fire fumbling with the flimsy paper tape that used to seal ammunition boxes, Vesta Stout had a solution. A waterproof cloth tape. She was able to win the support of her supervisors, but was more successful when she wrote to President Roosevelt, who instructed war producers to turn her idea into reality.
Right on.
Man, I bet she got money out of that.
She was a woman back then, probably she didn't.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But, I mean, very smart of her.
Right.
If military necessity can give us better sticky tape, what else might it do?
That's right.
You take the next one, so Elise.
Announcing a new initiative in 2014, then President Obama told journalists, basically, I'm here to announce that we're building Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw that video.
There was laughter, but he was serious. The U.S. military had already begun work on the project, a protective suit known as the Tactical Assault Light Operator Suit, TALOS. A video game-like promotional video showed the wearer bursting in on an enemy cell, bullets ricocheting off the armor. Iron Man was not to be. 5 years on, the initiative ended, but makers hope individual components of the suit will have applications elsewhere.
Or it went black. But go ahead.
The U.S. imagined its Talos exoskeleton in a promotional video. All right, exoskeletons are just one of the promising technologies militaries are exploring to enhance their soldiers. Enhancement is nothing new. Since ancient times, troops have been bolstered by advancements in weaponry, kit and training. Today, enhancement could mean much more than merely giving an individual soldier a better gun. It could mean altering the individual soldier. In 2017, Russia's President Vladimir Putin warned that humanity could soon create something worse than a nuclear bomb. One may imagine that a man can create a man with some given characteristics, not only theoretically, but also practically. He can be a genius mathematician, a brilliant musician or soldier, a man who can fight without fear, compassion, regret, or pain. Last year, former U.S. Director of National Intelligence, John Radcliffe, went further with a blunt accusation against China. He says China has even conducted human testing on members of the People's Liberation Army in hope of developing soldiers with biologically enhanced capabilities. There are no ethical boundaries to Beijing's pursuit of power, he wrote in the Wall Street Journal. China called the article Miscellany of Lies. Asked if the new DNI, Avril Haines, shared her predecessor's assessment, her office said that she had not commented but pointed to statements by her warning of the threat posed by China. While the Biden administration has jettisoned much of Donald Trump's agenda, tensions with China are likely to remain a feature of U.S. foreign policy. I totally agree with that.
You're mad. You can do that.
Ambition versus reality. Having a super soldier in the ranks is a tantalizing prospect for militaries. Imagine a soldier who could withstand pain, extreme cold, or the need to sleep. But as Americans attempt to build Iron Man show, technological restraints can drag ambition down to earth. A 2019 paper from 2 U.S. academies said that China's military was actively exploring such techniques as gene editing, exoskeletons, and human-machine collaboration. The report was based primarily on comments from Chinese military strategists. One of the authors, Elsa Kanaya, was skeptical about Mr. Radcliffe's comments. It's important to understand what the Chinese military is discussing and aspiring to actualize, but also to recognize the distance between these ambitions to the reality of which technology is at this moment, said Ms. Kanaya, a senior fellow at the Center for the New American Security. Even though militaries around the world may have quite a lot of interest in the possibility of super soldiers, at the end of the day, what is feasible within science does impose a constraint on any actor that is trying to push the frontiers. Advertise. Mr. Radcliffe was referred to testing on adults. While some characteristics could be altered in adults using gene editing, changing the DNA of embryos would offer one of the most plausible routes to a super soldier. Dr. Helen O'Neill, a molecules geneticist from University College London, said the question was more about whether scientists would be prepared to use this technology rather than whether it was possible. The technologies of genome editing and its combinations with assisted reproduction are becoming routine practices in transgenics and agriculture. It's just a combination of two for human use that is seen as unethical at the moment. In 2018, Chinese scientist, He Jiankui made a stunning announcement. He had successfully altered the DNA in the embryos of twin girls to prevent them catching HIV.
Yeah, and that's the one I remember that was on the news, and he actually lost his medical license.
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
got
get
jailed
permission.
too, right? Yeah,
he didn't
got
get
jailed.
permission. Yeah.
And basically blackballed from that. Yep,
Yeah.
I saw that too. The development brought outrage. Such gene editing work is banned in most countries, including China.
You know, behind the scenes it's being done.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure. It is normally restricted to discarded IVF embryos as long as they are destroyed immediately afterwards. And why are they doing it? And not used to make a baby.
I'll take it from here.
Okay.
Well, I think we can
Right.
decide that this is a very exciting episode of Alien Pro Podcast.
Yeah.
Very informative. Thank you guys for joining me.
Yeah, very
There
good
is
stuff.
more, but
We could go
you
on
know,
forever.
those of you that are awake still, thank you.
It brought up a lot of interesting.
Yeah, it brought a lot of it. It was an
Yeah.
interesting subject. It was something I've always been interested in. There's a lot there that we haven't. I think we can agree that there's a lot here that isn't really being reported as to what happened and
Absolutely.
what we're doing. But, you know, sometimes for the advancement of science, we have to do strange things. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a victim because they use prisoners and
Yeah,
we don't want to do that. It's, you know, human rights, you know, situation. So
The whole ethical.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm down for the LSD part, but everything
You
else,
know.
no. The plutonium, I'm out.
Matt, you can't do the LSD.
Oh, damn it.
You know, your job.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
you don't want to lose your job
I'm retiring soon.
in your next life.
Call me about the LSD.
We'll wrap it up. Alysse, and thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks
You know,
for having us.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Pro Podcast. We welcome questions, comments, or requests to alienpropodcast@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook. Check out our website, alienpro.net, Twitter and Instagram at alienpropod, YouTube, and preferably Rumble. Check us out on video. And thanks, probers. See you next time.
Bye. Peace out.
Peace out. We talk about Alysse's.